Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Guys, I hate to say it, but it's true. Black fatigue is here and it is real. And this lady, Shiloh, whatever her name is, the white lady who called a 5-year-old little black kid a nigger. People are saying, oh, he was autistic. She said it to a 5-year-old autistic kid. Well, how does she know that the kid was autistic? Autism does not always present itself clearly. If he was, maybe he wasn't stimming or whatever, even if he were showing signs, you can't expect somebody to read those signs correct and interpret them correctly. That's beside the point. It was a little kid and it was fucked up to call him that. Now, she says that the reason she did that is because and it takes place at a park. You guys probably seen it. If not, I'll put a link so you can check it out. But she was at a park and she said that the little black kid was rummaging through her bag, taking her kid's snacks, her baby's snacks, or a toddler, whatever. So she called him a nigger. Now, that's a little extreme. I don't agree with it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't call somebody that, because you got to give people what they deserve, what they earn. Some people earn the right to be called that. But my personal feelings on the word in general, I don't like it. I think it's a vile, disgusting word from terrible origins, and nobody should use it. But whatever, it's a word. You do whatever you want. But I think it's really ridiculous when black folks use it. You took a word. That would be like white people taking the word rapist and repackaging it. Oh, now it's a term of endearment. What up, my rapist? What? No, that's a disgusting thing, and you shouldn't be calling each other that unless they deserve it. But anyway, she dropped the N-bomb on the little kid, and then she starts, getting canceled. I guess she gets docked. Turns out the guy that was recording it was some immigrant Somali pervert, but people start sending her death threats and all this stuff, and she has to move, so she starts this account. I don't know if it was GoFundMe, but it was GoFundMe-like. And she starts this account, and people start donating tens of thousands, and at this point, hundreds of thousands. She's probably at $800,000 by now. But people almost gave her $1 million. They basically gave her $800,000 for calling a little black kid a nigger. Now, that's how it looks on paper. And that would make you think, if you weren't very intelligent or weren't willing to do some homework, that this is how America feels. All of these people were donating money to her because America is racist, and this is how white people feel. Well, if I'm not even going to say all, but even if most white people felt that way, that lady would have more than $800,000. But anyway, some people think it's indicative of America, that it's racist, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think it's indicative of white folks being sick of this shit. Should that lady have been doxxed and have to move and have death threats because she said that to a little black kid? No. That's extreme. That's over the top. That's a bit much. But people are tired of it. All the people have been canceled. All the times that black folks have got away with just saying the most wild, reckless, vile shit, nothing happens to them. It's encouraged. It's encouraged. We want you to say that. White people deserve it. White people are evil racists simply for being white. It's genetics. Say it, black folks. They deserve it. Kick them while they're down. It was championed. It was supported. It was wanted. It was requested. And people are tired of it because of one. I've said this 1,000,000 times. If you give one thing to one group, all the other groups are going to start to hate that group. If you have 3 kids and you give one of them a lollipop, how do you think the other 2 are going to feel about that kid? They're going to get pissed off and they're going to focus their grievances on that kid. That's what they've been doing for years with this putting black, no, leave them alone. Oh, quiet. Don't look at them in the eyes. Turn the lights down. Lower your voice. Avert your gaze because of slavery and some shit. That's why I call black folks who engage in that, they're the Fabergé eggs of ethnicities. You have to be very careful. You have to put on white gloves so you don't leave fingerprints, no smudges. Be very careful. Be very gentle. They are fragile because of something that none of them experienced, but that's not the point. They're the same color as them, so they're fragile. Be nice. Be kind. Let them say horrible, mean things to you. It's okay. You're white. You can take it. What did the mayor of Baltimore say? Or was it Baltimore or D.C.? Wherever Freddie Gray was. I think it was Maryland. Let them destroy. Let them get it out of their system. Treat them like petulant children, like little, like kids with special effects, as my son would say. It's not their fault. They're black. They're black. It's not their fault. So after years of shitting on people for the way that they may speak to them, and for years of them getting away with it, not only getting away with it, but then turning around and going, nah, nah, nah. Oh! You ever had that? You ever had your younger sibling do something to get you in trouble, and then they're standing behind your mom making faces at you? Oh, you little motherfucker. Now, I wouldn't be mad at that lady if she said that to him. Hey, you little motherfucker, get out of my bag. Who wouldn't say that? And I haven't heard anybody say this. Where the hell were your parents? Where were your parents to where you had so much time that you could rummage through some lady's bag and take her kids' snacks? Where were your parents? That's who deserves to be called the N-word, not the 5-year-old. His sorry-ass parents who weren't keeping an eye on him, especially if he's special needs. You need to keep an extra eye on that kid. Where the hell were they? Where was their caretaker? What kind of jackass would take a special needs kid, or any kid for that matter, to the park and lose track of them? I've actually seen that. When my daughter was little, when she was 2 and 3 years old, before she went to preschool, we go to story time at this library, this local library. If you're from the Central Coast, it was the Marina Library. And they had story time there every week. And so the kids would go, and then there was a playground outside. So the kids would go to story time, check out some books, and then everybody would kind of meet outside, play at the park, take out snacks and stuff like that. It was great. Not a lot of dads out there. And I'm not saying because of dads. I'm just saying a lot of dads were working. I was fortunate enough. My wife worked in the day. I worked at night, so we never had to send our kids to daycare. But there were few pops on the playground during the week. We held it down. But you have a couple times, one time in particular, I'm walking with my daughter, and when your kid's that little, you're kind of like Secret Service. You're just following them around. You're watching what they're picking up, what they're playing with, make sure they don't put it in their mouth or anything like that. You're always taking things out of their hand. Oh, no, we don't need that. Put that back. You're just following them around. So I'm following my daughter around, and we get probably 20, 25 yards away from the playground. There was a forest nearby. So we're getting into the trees and stuff, and she's just picking up, leaves or whatever and sticks. And I look behind me, and there's another kid about her age just following behind me. And as I mentioned, we're getting in the forest. There's things to obstruct your view. You can't see very well, especially someone so small. And so I look back, and there are like a group of 4 or 5 moms, and they're just talking, and all their backs are to me. And I'm like, and then you hear stories about a kid gets snatched in broad daylight. How do you snatch a kid in broad daylight? That's how. Their mom's backs turned to them, and they're fucking yapping, and their kids wandering into the forest. Literally. And so I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm not going to pick the kid up and take him back, because that would be weird. So I pick up my daughter, and we kind of start going back. I was like, oh, no, come on, let's go back over here. Let's find your mommy, that whole thing. And eventually one of them's like, oh, hey, there's my baby, thank you. I'm like, oh, my lady, if I was some kind of monster, some kind of pervert, as Arnie would say, get your shit together, lady. Pay attention. Take your little group, your little hen meeting, and just move it. Follow your kids around. Why are you sitting here with your back to the forest? But anyway, people like that do exist. So the dummies who let that little kid, autistic or not, roam around unsupervised and get himself into that situation, you should have got the N-word, not that little boy. But this is what happens. People are getting tired of this shit. It doesn't mean that they're racist. And I'll put a link to her video. She made a video saying that this is what happens when we tribe up and we support each other and we don't back down. That's what this is getting into. You're going to force white people to tribe up and look out for their own because they're sick of it. You know how it is when you get sick of something. There's no amount of begging or pleading. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. You're sick of it. You've already extended enough rope. You've made that fuse as long as it can be and it's burned down. When you get sick of something, that is it. And that's where you are pushing white folks. That's not right. Well, how could you accept being a victim and you don't need to be? Don't you have some pride? Don't you have some integrity? Because that's what's happening. People are getting tired of black folks getting away with this bullshit. And it's not black folks, let's be honest. There's black folks and there's niggas. And the niggas are ruining it for the regular, law-abiding, normal black folk who are just like white people and everybody else. We grew up here. We had birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese in front of those creepy-ass animatronic robots. Their eyes would blink all slow and make a clicking sound. I know what it's like to not want to go to sleep Christmas Eve night because you're so excited. I know what the night before the first day of school feels like. I know what it's like to sit in the classroom staring at the clock on the last day of school, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. I'm American, damn it. I'm just like everybody else. Don't get me caught up with these sorry-ass niggas who are fucking it up for everybody. Meet me in the comments. Do you agree? Do you believe that black fatigue is here? Or as I call it, BLATIGUE? Talk to me, goose. Do you know how it goes? I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.